Hello, everyone, and good evening. Welcome to Adam's TV podcast. I am your host, Adam Samuel. Tonight, we're at a different time, but we are going to be talking about Big Brother 20. We are going to be recapping week 4. We're going to be touching on just about everything. Since it is a Saturday, we are going to also be touching on some of the new spoilers. There's some breaking news coming in as we are going live currently. And joining me, everyone is here. I'm so happy. First off, we have a man who is 1 week and change away from Rockstar's birthday. He's joining us. It's Ryan. How you doing, Ryan?
I'm
Rockstar
very
Storm's birthday.
well. I was great until we got the latest breaking news, and now I want to shove my head into a blender. But everything else before this was good.
Also joining me is someone who might have some mixed results about the eviction that took place. It's Jason. How you doing?
A bitch is back. I'm good. How about y'all?
It's good to have you guys back. And I just want to say, to start off this podcast, I started watching Big Brother 15. I have become very invested in the show. I've gone back and watched so many seasons. There are this eviction that we're going to be touching on is the first time in my experiences watching Big Brother where I truly I feel lived up to the whole expect the unexpected, because it was kind of madness. Let's just go over it really quickly. Caitlyn is evicted from the house by a 9-1 vote. JC is the only vote to save her. She goes into the bonus life competition, and she doesn't complete it. What happened, Ryan? What happened?
Okay. The love and light is gone. My aura is cleansed. I'm sad but happy, and the higher good is within me and bursting.
I didn't know we were doing sunglasses. I would have gotten some. What do you make of it, Jason?
I'm wearing them and pretending I'm blind because watching that challenge was quite painful and made me want to stab my eyes out with pens.
I was watching this competition, and first of all, just to explain it, she has to take apart a puzzle of herself and rebuild it on this other side of a wall. And when I first saw this, I said, okay, this looks manageable. It looks like pretty much anyone could do it, and it just all falls apart. But watching her not being able to do it and just watching her realize that it wasn't going to happen and her breaking down and all this emotion was, like Jason said, I found it really hard to watch. This was supposed to be a triumphant moment, and it feels like a moment where all of the air was just sucked out of the room. Do you agree, Ryan?
I think that the most ironic part, and I don't want to send hate Caitlyn's way because I feel like she was a wonderful, wonderful addition to this season. I feel like the house is missing a lot without her. Having said that, the sheer irony of her downfall being that she, her legs are supposed to be spread apart in the working puzzle and they weren't in the one she was putting together. This is Big Brother.
Oh, we gonna start like that, huh?
I can't believe she's gone. This was I feel like no one expected that anyone would fail the bonus life challenge. No, this I just feel like this isn't how it was supposed to go. Do you agree, Jason?
Definitely. I feel like literally anybody else in the house could have completed this with no problem. I feel like I could have completed this with no problem. I'm not understanding this concept. She literally had the puzzle she started with this puzzle completely put together. She had a good whole 3 to 4 minutes to look at this damn puzzle and be like, okay, this piece goes there, that piece goes there, and figure out how to put this damn thing together. So I'm not understanding this concept of you take it apart and suddenly, oh, I don't know what the puzzle looked like. This puzzle was 7 pieces. How did you manage to mess this up? I'm not understanding this concept. I'm not.
It didn't seem that difficult of a puzzle. There were only like Jason said, there were 7 or 8 or something pieces. It seemed pretty straightforward. In my opinion, the strategy for this competition is take the puzzle apart, build it on the floor, and then kind of just lift it and place it. You should be done with this a minute 30, kind of. Is that a little bit too Am I going too far, Ryan?
No, but also like, why she? Okay, I understand you had to slide it through the door or whatever, but like, well, she didn't like carefully slide it through the door either. Like, it's like every possible thing she could do wrong, she did that times 10. Like, all you had to do was take the head, slide it, push it up, take the neck, slide it, push it right below the neck, and it would have already been built on the other side. And she couldn't even do that. I don't know. It really kills me though, because this is not how this should have worked at all.
There's honest to God, there is no excuse for there is no excuse. Like, this was literally made for her to be able to go back in the house, and I'm just not understanding how she managed to mess it up that bad.
Y'all remember in Big Brother Canada, I think it was 4, when they had like the family members compete for everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
This is like designed so if Rockstar's daughter had come in on her birthday to compete for her mom, and Rockstar still would have gone back in.
That's the thing also, because Kaitlyn, as we know, she does fail this competition. But had Rockstar been evicted, do you think Rockstar would have failed it or as well, or do you think she would have probably done it?
I told Jason this yesterday, actually. Rockstar, I'm sure, like, she has young children. So I'm sure one of her children has one of those, like, puzzle shape things where you have to put the triangle in the triangle and the square in the square. So I'm sure Rockstar's been around that kind of competition enough to where even she could have done it too.
Did y'all see that thing going around Twitter that's like where they had like put the pieces of the alphabet like back in, but they had put them all incorrectly, but they like still managed to fit, and they were like, "That's how Kaitlyn did this puzzle."
Yeah, like I think it was Ryan who said
whoever
it.
put that out there, because that was really funny.
I think it was Ryan who said it, but everything that Kaitlyn needed to do wrong to fail this, she did wrong. Like they gave her 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Like, I feel like that 30 seconds is like just an extra like buoy to make sure she completes it. And
she even stopped, got on the ground, and started crying while her time was going, and still would have had enough time to finish it. Like, even when that happened, she still had enough time to finish it if she tried and was capable as a 5-year-old. It didn't play out.
Yeah, the thing is, watching, like, Kaitlyn has had a bit of a rocky road in this house. There's been ups, there's been downs, there's been a lot of negative press around her in addition to the entertainment she brings. But watching her fall apart during the competition, I couldn't help myself like feeling for her, like that moment, all that pressure, just to feel it all in that moment. I do kind of like empathize with her, especially when she walks out and she's just, when the competition is over and the time is over and she just starts crying. Like, it was hard to watch. Was it for you, Jason?
Yeah, definitely. I just don't understand like how she just been. I cannot get over like how she just messed it up that bad. It was literally like the cringiest thing I have ever seen on this show, and we suffered through a whole season of Jeannie Marie Zimmerman, so like that's saying something. I literally like spent the whole time watching. I was like, oh my God, like she really did that. Like, she messed it up that bad.
She did.
She did not
She
do
did not
that.
do that.
She did not do that. No, it was just a hot mess. Just a whole entire dumpster fire.
I think one of the hardest moments was watching her like push the puzzle over after and then kind of start crying. But then she like runs for the button after the time has gone off. And it's like, oh God. Like, you know, those like the Fine Brothers videos where it would be like, try not to cringe, challenge 10. This is going in that next one.
Okay.
Yeah. Here's another thing I kind of want to touch on, because Ryan and I have said this in past discussions. Even though, like her or hate her, I feel like Kaitlyn has been the star of Big Brother 20. I feel like she is the one that everyone is talking about. And now that she's gone week 4, where do we go in terms of our entertainment value? Where's the entertainment and drama most going to come from? Where do you think, Ryan?
My best friend, Brett. My best friend, Brett. You know, if someone sets Rockstar off, then I trust her. Apparently Bailey is a crackhead, so who knows what she's gonna do. I feel like Fessy is very dumb and could cause some accidental drama. Brett likes to stir shit. So I feel like there's definitely still some stuff left. And you have people like Tyler that can get exposed in terms of how he's playing some people.
Don't want that. No.
I don't know, he's a little, not even he's too messy. Everyone else is too messy for him to like fully control. So I feel like there's definitely potential for drama, but it was like Kaitlyn was like your guarantee, you know?
Gonna miss her. That's all I can really say. Like, she's a nutty, cracked person, but she is entertainment gold. And I loved watching her. And I just want to end our segment on Kaitlyn just saying we're going to be seeing her again somewhere, right, Jason?
Oh, definitely. I feel like she's probably going to come back. Like, I'm sure they'll bring her back. If they had some kind of vendetta season, her and Swaggy would be totally on it, I feel like. No, I definitely think she'll be back.
Oh my God, her on Survivor? Like, food deprived? Oh, all right. I have so much that I could say about Kaitlyn. I do want to wish her well because that did seem like a really rough eviction, like everything going forward. But let's kind of move on. Go on.
One more thing. Let's all not send hate to Kaitlyn. She's gotta go through enough. If she starts like stirring stuff up herself, and you know she starts like mouthing off when she shouldn't, okay, maybe she'll invite it. But like, unless she pulls, in the great words of Miss Rogers, an inflate-a-lips, just leave her be. Like, she really is gonna do. She has enough to go on right now.
I'm going to definitely agree with that. The thing is, Big Brother 19, there was a figure known as the puppet master. It was Raven. Raven was kind of a little bit the opposite of Kaitlyn. Like, Kaitlyn is nuts, but even in her nutty beliefs, I still kind of believe that she is like kind of like that. She is, and she deserves all the blame for it. But in total, I feel like she's not a Raven figure. She's not someone who's like doing harsh things. She was never, to some people, yeah, maybe she was a little malicious, but in total, even in her cracked ways, I do still think she believes it. First of all, I do want to say, I do think she believes all her insaneness, but she's not using it like for bad. She's saying I'm rambling a little bit. What do you make of what I'm saying, Jason?
Yeah, I definitely, okay, first of all, I don't think that she can be compared to Raven because it's not like Kaitlyn went through the house just coming up with like blatant, obvious lies. Like, she never said to anybody that she was in Mensa, or that her mother was struck by lightning, or that she had an inverted spine, or that she was an Olympian, or her mother was an Olympian, or her mother like just was. No, she didn't do all that. So I definitely don't think we can compare her to Raven. However, I do want to back up the point of we do not need to send Kaitlyn hate, because at the end of the day, there's just too much going on to do all that, okay? Like, I don't think that she deserved that. She, y'all say and talk about y'all want to be entertained all the time. Kaitlyn did that. Kaitlyn was entertaining. So maybe, like, keep the Twitter fingers to a minimum.
Yeah, I'm just going to say all that. But you said something really quickly that Raven was a member of Mensa. Maybe she wasn't a member of Mensa. Maybe she meant she was a Jensa member. And anyone could be a Jensa member.
No. Raven explained after the season. That's not what she meant. She actually meant that she and her mom are eligible for Mensa, but they decide not to do it.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I liked it better when she could have been a Jensa member because I've actually been rewatching that season and I love Jen Johnson. She's a little bit like Kaitlyn. Like, they're both kind of insane, but also kind of like entertainment gold. But let's kind of move on. Let's kind of take this back to where we last left off. Last time we were talking, me and Ryan, it was Kaitlyn. No, it's not Kaitlyn's, but it was Rockstar's daughter's birthday, the eve of that whole mess up. We go forward. We went live afterwards. Sam has been the new HOH. And I want to ask you, first off, with Sam's HOH reign, good or bad? How did she handle it, Ryan? Do you think she did a good job?
Much like Caitlyn could not have completed her puzzle any worse, I don't think Sam could have run her HOH any worse. Like, these people really aggressively sabotage themselves, as we've seen over and over and over again this season. And Sam, that was you know what? I thought that was like the worst self-sabotage I've seen an HOH do for a while until I saw our most current HOH.
What about you, Jason? What did you think about Sam's HOH reign?
Oh, listen, Linda. All right. Sam, up until this point, has really been one of my favorite house guests. But I think I have some beef with her right now because there was no excuse for some of the things that she did and said during this week. So, no, I was not a fan of her HOH. I wish she had never gotten HOH. I wish the HOH power had never come to her. And I would prefer that she doesn't get HOH again.
We'll touch on what I feel you're alluding to a little bit later. But
Let's do that.
So Sam is the new HOH. They have this pretty hilarious segment where she comes out of her HOH room and she says the whole, "Who wants to see my HOH room?" And I think it was Caitlyn is in one of the rooms and is like, "I'm not going." No. I don't. Why was she not going? What was going on there, Ryan? Do you know?
She was like fighting with Fessy and like crying at that moment. I mean, shocker, because she doesn't do that 24/7. But she was like not like mad at Sam. She was just like, "I can't go on. My spirit guides are holding me back."
In the HOH room, eventually they go in and Sam kind of sits them all down. And apparently she was told by production that she's not allowed to reveal some details of who she's going to be nominating and who I don't think she was allowed to talk about her power until later on in the veto ceremony. Am I correct, Jason? Was that the truth?
That was the impression that I got from it. I'm not exactly sure either, but that was definitely the impression that I got from it.
I'm pretty sure the like actual Big Brother rules are technically you are not allowed to directly tell the people you're nominating that you're nominating them. So that's what production told her. As for the power, I don't think that there was like a rule. I think it was just production being like, "Hey, why don't you just wait until we get a TV moment." What do you think, Jason?
What happened?
Getting some internet connections.
There we go.
Are you there?
Yeah,
there was some internet connections. It got a little wonky.
Are you all right?
Hello?
Hello. Okay, well, I think that you're right. And while he's gone, Sam is a bitch, and she should not have done that. The power should never have been bestowed upon her. I just wanted to point that out again.
The power was meant for someone beautiful and classy, and if that was the case, you should have put it back on the rack.
She is nothing like that. She is nothing of the sort.
All right, you guys kind of cut out for me, but I don't know if I was still there, but that was all messed up. I don't know what happened, but let's move on. So Sam, she says she's not going to be. She is just going to go with her flow and say what she wants. And what did you think about this play of hers, Jason? That she's not going to reveal any details of what her nominations are going to be.
I think that it was smart. Like, you know, she already kind of had her mind made up on what she wanted to do and who she wanted to screw over. You know, I think it was just kind of smart for her to be like, listen, like, you know, I've already decided, you know, let's just keep it moving. So I didn't have any issues with it. I wasn't mad at it.
All right. What did you think, Ryan?
I don't think that play in itself was like terrible. It was how kind of how she presented it. Almost like she didn't trust anyone else enough to like tell them. I feel like if she had just not like, I don't know, she got very HOH-itis-y because she like sat in her HOH chair and she was like, "Listen, I'm telling no one anything and stay out of my room." And so like if she had just been like, "Oh yeah, I'm not gonna tell anyone," like if she had just kept it like calm and relaxed, like it would have gone over better. But like she was very like authoritarian with it.
Yeah, and she eventually settles on nominating Caitlyn and Haley. And I want to, yeah, that was right?
Yeah,
Caitlyn
I
and
just
Haley.
booed
Oh.
it.
Boo.
So, Jason, where did these noms kind of come from? Can you explain it to me?
Well, I can't explain that. So basically, Sam decided that she has an issue with how Caitlyn and Haley don't respect the men in the house, and she feels like the fact that they show affection to them is very disrespectful and puts feminism back. So that's where her nominations came from. I'd like to go ahead and tell you what I think about that, if that's all right.
By all means.
I think it's bullshit. I think it was about the dumbest shit I have ever heard in my whole entire life. I'm sorry for cussing. I thought it was really stupid. I thought it was really dumb. The dumbass jumped out. I can promise you that. There was no rhyme or reason to that. There are literally so many other things that you could have said. You did not have to come at them like that. You did not have to personally attack them like that. Okay, she could have just been like, I've nominated the two of you because I feel this is best for my game, and that's the tea on that. Nah, this girl felt like she had to just come for them from like some kind of moral high ground that she does not possess. Because if I recall, 4 weeks ago, when you were a robot, you were cussing people out in the storage room. I thought that was pretty disrespectful. So I'm not understanding this concept of why she thinks that she's better than everybody else and she can talk to everybody else however she wants to talk to them and say whatever she wants to do and judge them. I thought it was really stupid. I thought it was really dumb. I just wanted to put that out there.
Do you agree, Ryan?
What I will say is, like, her logic was awful. I think it showed who she is as a human being and her backwards characteristics, her backwards values, rather. But what I will say, if she wanted to nominate them for those reasons, okay, she should have just lied about it. But because she was so awful publicly, she made other people distrust and dislike her more than they ever did.
Yeah, it was slut shaming. That's the term, right? Isn't that a little bit what it was?
It's like, exactly what it was.
Yeah, but also, like, it's hard because okay, Caitlyn, you can make your arguments and whatever. Fine, I won't touch that. But Haley was not doing anything wrong, and Haley wasn't even doing anything more than Sam does. So I don't know.
I personally feel like Haley's probably one of the least problematic people inside the house. So I'm not understanding why she picked Haley to come after when you've got people. It just didn't make any sense. It made no sense to me.
Could y'all imagine Sam's speech if she had, like, known what Caitlyn was doing under the covers with people like Brett and Fessy?
Yeah, Caitlyn, Brett, and Fessy go over the top, under the covers. I don't know if you guys remember that. That was OTT.
Oh, my God.
I was trying to find, like, Sam's placement in the house. Let's touch on that because she was not a level 6 member. She's kind of, like, a little bit, like, associated with Tyler, but not in that area. And I was kind of expecting her to take a shot at Faute, and she kind of went all personal, which is never really a good decision, right, Ryan?
I won't say that because sometimes personal vendettas can align with strategic vendettas in the house, so I won't say it's never good. And honestly, I don't think it was a bad move for her game in terms of the targets because she was going after the Faute side, even if she wasn't doing it for, like, good reasons or going about it in a good way.
Yeah, I can agree with that, I think. I'm just not understanding why. I feel like there were bigger fish to fry in the house, and that was my issue with it. I'm just not understanding why she picked the two people. Caitlyn's only won one competition, and it was a crapshoot. Haley hasn't won anything. Like, well, don't you... Go ahead.
What I'll say is she had to target... Well, she didn't have to, but, like, logically she was going to go after people that weren't level 6 because she had stuck with level 6 and everything, so you have to take your shot at some Faute members.
Yeah.
So her going after people like Caitlyn, Haley, Fessy, whatever, Rockstar, is logical, but like that's not the angle she was looking at it from. So that's what was illogical.
Exactly, and that's what the problem was with. That's where the plan was flawed. It was her reasoning behind it.
I will say also, like, this is week 4 in Big Brother. They've lived with Caitlyn 30-something days, so if someone was snapping and just, like, didn't want to live with her anymore, that's also understandable.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
The interesting thing is, from these nominations, we kind of... A new story kind of blooms, because as it turns out, these two women attached to another house guest, Fessy, who is in both of their corners. He's with Haley. He's got a thing going with Caitlyn. This love triangle kind of comes to the forefront, in my opinion, this week. This is where that story kind of comes out. And what did you kind of think about Fessy and this storyline, Jason?
It was really problematic because I feel as though Fessy should have just been upfront with Caitlyn about like how he felt for Haley. Just been like, "Yo, yeah, I have a crush on this girl. It doesn't affect our friendship. I need you to understand that." Like, if he had come at it from a logical standpoint with her, I don't think that would have hurt any kind of friendship he had with her. But I think that my issue with it is he was kind of so underhanded about the way that he did things this week that it definitely, I feel, would have hurt him in the long run if Caitlyn had stayed.
Do you agree, Ryan?
I would say, keeping with the theme of Big Brother 20 house guests making as bad a move as possible, we have the one guy who under no circumstances has any business winning the power of veto, because it is his 2 closest people on the block. He would have to choose one. He would have to break trust with one. Mm-hmm. And he knew that going in. And he also knew from Sam repeatedly that he was not an option to be nominated. For whatever reason, Sam wasn't going to do it because she hates women. So, she wasn't going to nominate a man.
Right.
So he was fine. He had no reason to. And he went out of his way to make his life difficult.
Yeah, this was... I felt like going into this veto competition, Fessy has ended up getting picked. I think Haley gets the house guest choice and picks him to join the competition. He had absolutely no right to win this competition. He just needed to throw it. I have no idea why he wanted to win this. But the one thing I will say is, bless his heart, it gave us some pretty amazing feeds, right, Jason?
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
For as bad of a game player as he is, he's kind of like entertainment, like gold a little bit this week, right, Ryan?
He's entertaining by accident. Like he's not doing stuff himself that's entertaining, but his actions are causing repercussions that are entertaining to watch.
Agreed.
So let's kind of move on to this veto competition. We actually had a guest joining us for the competition. It is Rachel Riley, and this competition, it's a memory comp where they're kind of standing in these things and they're getting hit, and they have to memorize like how the order they're getting hit and what devices they're getting hit with. This would not be my competition. Would it be yours, Ryan?
I think so, because it's only like you have 3 options in terms of like what each part of the sequence is going to be. So I feel like you can create a rhythm to keep it going. And also it's points. Like it's not one of the ones where if you get it wrong, you're eliminated. So like even if you get it wrong, you can bounce back.
What about you, Jason? Would you have been good at this competition?
Yeah, definitely. I think so. I just would have like kept a thing going in my head, and then when they asked the question, I just would have been no.
That's awkward because I would have been. I think I would kind of like I think Caitlyn actually was the one who said it, like I would put a word to each like hit and like kind of form a sentence there, but that would be like then I would get all confused and I would get flustered.
No. Caitlyn didn't put a word; she put a note. So she was like,
she forgot her song.
And then she was like, "But there's no words attached, so I don't know what I'm doing." Like, no shit.
I could be like the and in like and just kind of like make it like not It's just something I was thinking of. But like we said, ultimately, Fessy ends up being the winner. What did you think, Jason, about Rachel Riley's guest appearance this week?
It was so short-lived. I would have loved to have seen her like interacted more with the house guests. I love Rachel Riley. I think she's one of my favorite house guests ever to play. I love Rachel Riley. I was very happy to see her, and I cannot wait to watch her on Amazing Race.
Do you agree, Ryan?
I completely agree. I mean, put Rachel in whenever. She's fun. She's entertaining. I just wish she could have entered with like a bag on her shoulder and like recreated like, ha ha ha, I'm back, bitches. I feel like that would have been fun.
I kind of love Rachel. I also love Alyssa. I love all the Rileys. They're awesome. So we move forward, and Fessy has the veto, and immediately the drama. It all comes out. But he seems pretty set. As soon as he wins the veto, I'm saving Haley. Right, Ryan?
Yeah, but he could not have gone about this any worse. Like, not only does he have absolutely no reason to win the veto, but he went and made his life as difficult as possible when before the veto, directly before the competition, he goes up to Kaitlyn, looks her in the eye, shakes her hand, and says, I'll use it on you. And, like, you just didn't have to respond to that, you know? Like, he is so dumb. It is next level.
Do you agree, Jason?
I definitely do. I think that he played this whole entire week completely and totally wrong. There was no rhyme or reason to him winning that veto at all. I just thought he was stupid.
I think his big mistake was kind of leading Kaitlyn on. Like, I feel like the right move is, if I'm in his position, it's you sit down with Kaitlyn and you're completely honest and you say, look, I understand, but I'm going to be going with Haley, and I'm sorry, and just keep saying, because you never know if she's going to be coming back. But first of all, I probably wouldn't have been in this position to begin with, but I feel like that's kind of the correct play. I feel like he was kind of roundabout about it. He's like, oh, I don't know. He actually is talking to her, and he calls her Haley at one point. He's talking to Kaitlyn. And what do you think would have been the right move here, Ryan?
Once he won the veto?
Yeah.
I don't know. He shouldn't have promised both of them before he won the veto. He shouldn't have promised them both after he won the veto. Which I guess he didn't really promise Kaitlyn after he won the veto. He was kind of like, I don't know. You know that the gif of the guy like holding the cup where he's like, that's kind of what he did when Kaitlyn came up to him in the bathroom afterwards. So I don't know. Everything he did was wrong. So I can't pick like one point.
He shouldn't even won the veto.
Well, that's a given, though.
Point blank in the period. Like, there was no reason why. Nah.
In this kind of mess that like starts going forward, I think we actually see this a little earlier, but Rockstar is still kind of feeling the repercussions from the Brett blind side, and for the first time this season, we get some pots and pans. And if the trend is continuing, I mean, Evil Dick used pot and pans. Josh used pot and pans. Are we looking at a Rockstar win, Jason?
Oh, nothing would make me happier. Nothing would make me happy. I would be over the moon. Oh my god. But that would be legendary. It's never going to happen, but that would be legendary.
What about you, Ryan? Do you think it's possible? Has it manifested itself?
You know, I would say no. But I would also have said no about Josh, so I will not say that is impossible at this point.
I mean, hey, she's on my draft, so I would be okay with that. The thing is, this is something I don't know if you guys really want to touch on, but I do think it is a little warranted of a discussion, is she comes around and she starts banging the pots and pans, and she goes like right up to Brett and kind of gets really touchy with him. This would have been a different story if it was a man doing this to a woman. Wouldn't it have, Ryan?
Yes, it would have, but at the same time, that's not what it was, you know? Like, you can play make-believe with any scenario and switch things out, and obviously things are going to be different. But let's be honest, like, Rockstar clearly didn't cross any lines. Rockstar clearly didn't scoop anyone's anything with an ice cream scooper like some people do. So I feel like to harp on that is insane.
What are your thoughts? And
also, she did a #1 hit on the Billboard charts, so I feel like we shouldn't be criticizing her for that.
Fair enough. What do you think, Jason?
I think that everybody should buy her song on iTunes. It's called My Best Friend Brett, and then in parentheses, he's in the house. Um, so yeah, nah. As far as what you said about it, like if the roles were reversed, yeah, it probably would have been a thing, but I don't think that her intentions behind it were like anything other than, okay, well, this boy just like screwed me over, so it's not that deep. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. It's just not that deep.
He's got a micro penis.
All
I
right.
bet he does. I bet he does.
Let's move on. So, like we said, Fessy has the veto. Caitlyn kind of knows this is coming. He uses it on Haley. And at this veto ceremony, some kind of nuts stuff goes down. Sam is like, okay, I'm going to be nominating someone to replace Haley, someone who is very friendly, someone who I believe everyone likes and will not be sent home. And that person is, and before I think she even says the name of the person she's thinking of, JC kind of looks up and goes, no. And he shakes his head. He's like, you can't do that. What happened, Jason?
Did y'all see that tweet that was going around that was like, Sam, no one can change my mind. I'm nominating JC. JC, no. Okay, Sam, I'm nominating Rockstar. Basically, he saw it coming. He was just like, not today, boo.
I feel like we have to give that, like, that's a credit to his gameplay that he was able, like, she was going to nominate him and he just turned her, like, for all the times that we knocked JC's gameplay, like, this was a good thing that he was able to pull off, right, Ryan?
Okay, sure. He did the right thing. I'm not going to give him some mastermind gameplay credit because he said the word no when someone implied that they were going to nominate him. Like, that is just how... Like, I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, your gameplay is only based on how strong the people you're playing against. Like, I'm not one to, like, knock Derek's game because he was in a cast of weak people. But I'm not going to give JC credit because Sam is a weak-minded crazy ass.
Yeah, there was... It was just kind of nuts to watch, but I will say, it's not like a mastermind level, but it is just like a move that I'm like, oh, that's impressive. That's something... It's not amazing, but it is like, okay, you pulled that off. That's pretty cool. So like Jason said, she ends up going instead with Rockstar. And our noms are Rockstar and Caitlyn. And right after these noms are set, Caitlyn talks to Tyler and he says, you have the votes. You're fine. Right, Jason?
Mm-hmm. But she did not have the votes. And she was not fine.
Well, she kind of did.
Let's talk about that. So she has the votes pretty, like, Tyler lays it all out. She has level 6, and I think he also includes JC, right, in that mix. Where did the votes kind of go wrong? Because as history has shown, she is evicted. How did things switch, Ryan?
So things switched very, very, very often. Initially at the start of the week, it looked like a 5-5 tie. It looks like Bailey, Scotty, Haley, Fessy, and JC, actually. JC was not siding with level 6 this time. They were all coming together to vote out Caitlyn. The rest of, like, level 6 was all together to vote out Rockstar. Then Scotty and Bailey actually were the ones to waver, not JC. They were kind of like, I don't know, like, is this really worth it? And they really had switched over, and then they were switching back, and then they switched over again. And then at some point, Caitlyn, like, starts to, I don't know how to put this. She, like, comes at people like Angela and Casey and is like, I know y'all are trying to get rid of me when they're trying to keep her. She's throwing people under the bus. She's, like, actively pissing off the people keeping her, so they switch over. And I want to say probably like Wednesday afternoon was probably like the avalanche effect where she just like made so many people mad that they were like, screw it. And it ended up being like the unanimous or like near unanimous vote to get her out.
Yeah. The thing is, going into the campaigning, JC is dead set. He's like, no, we got to get Caitlyn out this week. He goes to level 6. He's pretty dead set in it. He says this is going to happen, and a lot of people were talking that I don't know if this was true. This is just something I heard. I want to ask if you guys can confirm. Some people have said that Angela had a lot to do in this flip. Is that true, Jason?
That is also what I've heard. I'm not really sure, but that's what I've heard. People were mad she didn't get like a whole lot of screen time on the eviction episode.
Can you shed some light, Ryan? Do you know? I'm just speaking from ignorance because I don't know.
She kind of did. Like, she was the one that really was the... It was like a split vote, you know? And people were on the fence. Angela was the first person to really, like, on the other side, step forward and be like, wait, never mind. Can't stand this girl. She's crazy. She's doing some wild-ass shit. I don't think we should keep her. And people kind of followed along after that. But it's not like she was, like, plotting and scheming. Like, she was just kind of like, y'all, I can't do this.
The furniture has some kick to it, which is a little bit exciting to know, because moving forward, I'm starting to see Angela emerging. Like, now she's not doing anything, but I am getting hints of like a late game. Her and Rachel, the two, are, in my opinion, the ones that have the most potential later on. And I'm kind of excited for them. I have a little bit of hope that maybe Angela might be able to still do something a little bit exciting. Do you think so, Jason?
We'll see. Does the furniture have throw pillows? Or we don't know yet.
We'll see. But one thing that I do also want to touch on for this week is after the vote comes in for Winston being evicted. Wait, it was it was Winston being evicted. Caitlyn kind of pulls Tyler aside, and they kind of talk like in the bathroom area. And Caitlyn says, "Did you flip?" Because it was one vote that ended up sending Winston home. And he said, "Did you flip?" And he said, I think he said, "No, I didn't flip." And she says to him, "Swear on your dead father," right there. And Tyler responds in something that I don't know if he pointed, like he intended, but he said something really smart as his response, where something like, "I would never do that." And he was talking about swearing on his dead father, but Caitlyn interpreted it as, "No, I wouldn't flip." And intentional or not, first of all, I do want to say it's totally out of bounds for Caitlyn to be touching that subject. That's something that no one in the house should ever be touching on. But,
oh, God. Bless America.
But Tyler kind of played this well, right, Ryan?
Yeah. I think that he said what he felt. And I feel like in that situation, it's not like an area you want to be manipulative in. You just want to, tell her, sit down, don't ever say something like that to me again. And you know what? If she wants to be crazy, it was Caitlyn. That honestly feels like a million years ago at this point. So I can't even, it's hard to go back to it.
What do you think, Jason? What did you think about that comment?
I thought it was way too far. There was no reason why she should have brought that up.
All right. We also, another point that kind of is touched on, there was no Twitter party, but Caitlyn kind of gets exposed a little bit, something even a little bit after her eviction, where she had told quite a few of the male figures in the house that she had feelings for them. She told, I believe it was Fessy and Tyler, and also something kind of came out about Brett. But JC, I think, was the one, correct me if I'm wrong when I'm talking here, JC kind of comes up with this idea, like, let's get Fessy and Tyler into a room and let's have a whole exposed party, which I do believe does end up happening. But what did you kind of think about this situation? I found it a little messy. Did you, Ryan?
Like post Caitlyn eviction?
Before, I think it was that they had that, right?
I don't remember that.
Or post, whichever.
I mean, I remember them sitting around and just all talking about it. I don't know. I don't honestly have strong feelings about that. I don't feel like it was that relevant. I
felt like it was a little bit like they want to expose her, and it was just a little bit messy. Do you think so, Ryan? Jason?
I, honest to God, I don't know anything about that. I hadn't heard about that. But if that's the case, yeah, that is a little bit messy, I think. And it could potentially come back to bite the house guests that were involved, within their games, but I don't know.
in previous weeks, we've kind of touched on like the star of the week, and I think the stars definitely are Caitlyn and Sam. But two other figures that kind of had a lot of spotlight time this week were Tyler and JC. They kind of go back and forth. A lot of people seem to think that Caitlyn was this mastermind figure that was kind of controlling Tyler throughout the past few weeks, and JC, I think, a little bit fancies himself a mastermind in his own sense, and he kind of gets this idea that we're going to send home Caitlyn and we're going to keep Tyler around, and he's going to be a bit like a lost goat, like not a lost goat, like a lost little like sheep that they can kind of scoop up. And JC kind of talks to Tyler, and he says like, "Dude, Caitlyn's manipulating you. You're being totally manipulated." And Tyler's like, "No, I'm manipulating her." And this persona that people are kind of thinking that Tyler is the one who's been manipulated does have me a little worried for maybe towards the end of the game about getting some jury votes. People might think, oh, you weren't playing your own game. You were playing Caitlyn's game. Do you think that's something he might need to worry about, Ryan?
Personally, I feel like he has to worry more about getting to the end than actually getting jury votes. I feel like he's someone who could like explain himself well in jury speeches. He's not a Gina Marie dumbass who cannot speak to save her life. But I honestly feel like there's two things that have kind of contributed to this. One, it is Tyler's attempt at creating his like surfer bro, like airhead persona. And two, it's also the inclination in the house to be paranoid. You automatically think everyone is plotting and scheming and operating on this mastermind level. So when you see someone as wild as Caitlyn, you think, oh my God, she's got a plan. She's doing this. You don't naturally think, oh, she's just psychotic. So I feel like that's kind of where this idea is coming from.
I guess. I am just a little worried because I think Tyler is, of all the house guests, I think he is playing the best game, the most impressive game. It's giving me shades a little bit of Vanessa, but I am just worried because JC, he's like, every time Tyler's like, no, I'm the one manipulating her, JC's like, oh, like you poor sweet summer child, like you're just not understanding that you're being manipulated. And I will say JC was kind of like annoying me a little bit this week because he was so on this train that Tyler is just straight out being manipulated. And I don't know how to feel about that. How do you feel, Jason?
I don't know. I mean, at least here's what I'm going to say about JC. Say what you will about him, hate him or like him or whatever. At least he's playing the game. That's all we can really ask for. He is playing the game.
I agree.
I feel that he should be given at least a little bit of credit for that.
I do. I thought he would be like a Jose figure, and he's got a little bit more talent to him, and I will say I do give him credit. But I just keep imagining like if I was in the house and this figure just keeps coming up to me and saying, You're being manipulated and you're doing this. I would just personally find it annoying, but I guess there's not that much more to kind of touch on there. So are you guys ready to kind of get into the eviction and what some of the fallout for there?
Yeah, let's get into the bullshit that's happened the last.
Not spoilers yet. So we get the Caitlyn eviction, and she, like we said earlier, she goes and she gets this bonus life. She goes upstairs to compete. It all kind of falls apart, and she leaves brokenhearted, and she talks to Julie Chen, and she kind of says something that got me a little bit nervous because I was hearing on the feed some other people were kind of saying the same thing, where Caitlyn is, first of all, she's sobbing to Julie, and she says, I want a woman to win. And I was hearing some of the other house guests in the house saying they also want a woman to win. And I feel that a house guest shouldn't be deemed the winner of the show based on their gender, rather on the gameplay they pulled off during the house. And this mindset is something that has me nervous because it cost Ross the win in Big Brother, Celebrity Big Brother. Do you kind of have any worries about that, Ryan?
No, because I feel like if you're in a house and personally, I don't feel like men have, had that much of a plight in Big Brother anyway, so I honestly don't care. But if you're a man in Big Brother and you let that kind of environment be created, then you're not actively working to secure your own spot. So if someone like Tyler gets to the end and that is, the general environment in the house, that's something that he was not actively working at.
I'm just kind of worried that we're going to get a final two of Angie Rockstar and Tyler. Like Tyler's going to have dragged Angie to the end, and Angie's just going to get the win because the jury are going to talk. She's a mother. She needs the money. And that's how we get an Angie Rockstar win. What do you make of that, Jason?
I would love that. I do not care. I don't care. If Angie Rockstar wins this season, I
second that.
Love that.
I totally disagree. I mean, like
Well,
for
you're
Angie to
wrong.
win. What? I didn't hear
You're
you.
wrong, and it's okay.
But like, if Angie ends up winning this show, like next to Tyler, like that, we're kind of thinking ahead. But that would just be a travesty, in my opinion. Like because Angie is not a great player. She's erratic. She's like not reliable. Tyler has played like a mastermind game. What?
So was Josh.
And Nicole.
Let's not talk about Josh because I really don't like Josh. Of all the winners, he's probably my least favorite just because he, in my opinion, didn't win. Paul lost. Like anyone would have won sitting next to
A drug dealer has won, and Josh is his favorite.
Adam Jasinski says hello.
As a game player, Adam played a better game than Josh.
So, Jason, what did you think about the HOH that happened this week?
All right, let's move on. So, all right, Caitlyn is evicted. The episode ends, and at this point, we are going to be going into spoiler territory.
He said a drug dealer has won this show.
Let's move on. So this is your spoiler warning to all you watching who don't want to know information about the new HOH. We're going to probably be touching on this a bit. So, Ryan, who's our new HOH? What happened?
So Bailey is our new HOH because keeping with the theme of Big Brother 20, she was in a wonderful spot and has now done everything possible to ruin her game.
What's happened, Jason?
As far as Bailey's HOH goes?
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not as caught up as Ryan is on this, so you should ask him.
I'll talk about what I know, and then Ryan, you could build on what I say. So Bailey is the HOH. She was in a very solid spot going into this week. I feel like this was an HOH she could have easily coasted through. I feel like anyone who would have won would not have targeted her. She gets the HOH. She decides that she's going to be taking a shot at level 6. She's going to be going right back. And first off, she sits down with Tyler and she says, Tyler, first of all, building on this narrative that JC had kind of built, that he had been manipulated by Caitlyn. She says, I'm going to give you the week off. You can sit back. I'm not going to nominate you, because Tyler had kind of built some social capital with her. That is really paying off for him for this week. So instead, Bailey decides, like she said, level 6. I believe she went with the noms were Brett and Rachel. Am I correct, Ryan?
You are very correct. And those wouldn't necessarily be bad noms, but again, how she went about nominating them.
Yeah, there was one mistake here that was really, really bad to hear. She apparently spilled to Rachel that she has the Power app. What did you make of that decision, Jason?
Out of everybody you could tell that you got this app, I'm not understanding this concept. Why would you pick somebody who is literally on the other side and gunning for you and your friends to tell them that you have an advantage in this game? I'm not understanding this concept.
What about you, Ryan? What do you think?
So my big issue, first of all, is why is she telling anyone? I didn't like when she told Fessy, because Fessy's stupid. But you know what? That worked out. Like, he hasn't said anything so far. It is what it is. But this power doesn't work if everyone knows about it. It's not like the bonus life where it's going to happen and, it is what it is. It's a power where you're supposed to anonymously steal someone's HOH. Can't anonymously steal if everyone knows. And the most frustrating thing is seeing her tell the girl that she's putting up about her power. She doesn't tell her allies. It's not like she told Haley. She told the girl she's putting up. And I don't know what happened.
I don't either. Why would you, no one, this information, if you have this power, Not a soul should know. No one. I don't. Absolutely no one. Do you agree with Jason?
Yes, I'm not understanding why she would tell anybody. If I got that power, listen, I would just be like, oh, y'all thought you were safe, but guess what, boo? Not today. Not today. No, that's really stupid on her part.
And not only did she tell Rachel about the power, she told Rachel what she plans to do with the power.
What does she plan to do with it?
She told her that she's going to use it in like next week or the week after and nominate Scotty and Tyler together.
Oh.
What would happen? Ooh, because if that goes back to Tyler,
then the cloud is popping up and it's a whole ass mess.
And then all of a sudden a helicopter is going to come in to drop Cerie so she can get evicted again. It's advantage get-in is going to happen, which I want to ask this to you, Ryan, because you seem the most caught up. Has Rachel spilled this news to anyone?
Yes.
Who?
To Angela.
Any news that this might get back to Tyler anytime soon?
They kind of seem the thing with the girls of level 6 that they've kind of drifted a little bit from level 6, and with Caitlyn leaving, the girls have kind of come together more and are actually starting to consider the idea of like a girls' alliance really working, which is kind of where the sentiment of a girl should win is coming from. So that group is coming together, and as of now, they haven't said anything. But the minute that stuff starts going down, you know that something's getting back to Tyler.
Yeah, and this could get messy, especially because if he finds out that Bailey is still going for him, Tyler has a lot of social capital. He could get her out foreseeably. Like this could come back to haunt her. But one other thing I want to touch on is JC for the vote for to evict Caitlyn does throw a bit of a hinky vote. Was there any fallout for this vote, Jason, if you know any?
Not that I know of. I mean, obviously it's probably going to create paranoia in the house, but not that honest to God, I had not been keeping up with feeds very much this week. I got back from a trip today, and so I just hadn't been keeping up with it, but I haven't heard anything.
What about you, Ryan? Have you heard anything about any fallout?
The consensus is that it was not Tyler. Everyone agrees, like, oh, poor Tyler, someone's trying to frame him. No one is, like, really agreeing on who it was, and honestly, they don't even seem to care that much. But they're just agreeing it wasn't Tyler.
All right, let's kind of move on to the breaking news that kind of happened just before we kind of were going to go live. We find out there was a veto competition, so like we said, the noms are Rachel and Brett, and Bailey was also the HOH. So first off, I want to ask Ryan, who else was playing in the veto? And if you have any information, what was the veto competition and who won?
So I don't know what it was. I know the extra players, in addition to Rachel, Brett, and Bailey, were JC, Tyler, and Sam. And continuing with the theme of people doing everything wrong for their game, Tyler has won another competition and is holding the power of veto.
Have you heard any news about his play here? And also, who do you think is in most danger now?
That I have no idea about. I think that if the noms, I know if the noms are Brett and Rachel, he wants Rachel to go. I'm hearing some stuff about Scotty being in danger now, and I think I read something about Tyler taking Brett off and nominating Scotty in his place. So that could be it, but I don't have any like definitive answer on that.
That's pretty bad news to hear. Those are pretty hardcore game players this season. It would be such a shame to lose them, but should the votes stand, and that is the eventual final nominees between Scotty and Rachel, who do you think goes home, Jason?
Ideally, I would love Rachel to go home, but unfortunately, I think it'd be Scotty because Rachel would probably have Angela, Tyler, Casey, Brett, and I imagine JC as well. So I think it would probably be Scotty.
What JC I thought was very, very, very anti Rachel, like very anti-Rachel, like for no kind of reason. Is that true, Ryan?
Yeah, I don't know what his problem is, but I'm not a fan of it.
All right. So unless you guys have any final things you want to touch on, I guess we could kind of call it there. Do you have any final things you want to touch on, Jason?
No, I'm just ready for this week. I'm ready to see the episode tomorrow so I can get caught back up and everything. It's been kind of a Big Brother free week for me. I watched both of the episodes from Wednesday and Thursday today before we came on, so I'm excited to kind of get back immersed.
What about you, Ryan? Any final thoughts you want to touch on?
I'm trying to stalk Twitter, and from what I see, Bailey actually doesn't want the veto used, and Tyler is trying to push the veto to be used. So we'll see what happens there. I know the girls, if the nominations stay the same, the girls really, really want to keep Rachel, but Tyler is already trying to get Rachel out, so it could be a battle there.
I'm excited to see it. Otherwise, I just want to say we're going to be Eric and I are going to be live on Wednesday. We are going to be live again next week with our episode for the Fallout and week 5, and in total, just recapping the entire thing. I want to say to both of you two, thank you so much for joining me today. It was fun at this new time. Other points of just housekeeping. My name is Adam Samuel. You can find me on Twitter at Adam Soapbox. I run my 2 websites, adamsoapbox.com and adamstvblog.com. I've just finished my new blog post for adamsoapbox.com. It's a short story. It's going to be coming out in the next day or 2. You can look out for it. I'm pretty excited about it. I worked pretty hard. Where can we find you, Ryan?
So you can follow me at Ryan Temple TBH on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, anything. I do have one thing. I have a prepared statement I would like to read very quickly. Because I haven't talked to you the entire time, and you didn't campaign toward me. You're a piece of crap. I cannot believe on my daughter's birthday that you would sit there and would
drag my name through the mud.
You are a bold face. Disgusting. Disgusting. That's all.
Man, Jason, where can we find you?
Okay, you can find me on Twitter _JasonBrown21. Then you have to put the underscore at the beginning, otherwise you will get a country singer. So _JasonBrown21, Instagram, Jason with 2 N's, Brown with 1 N. I don't have a prepared statement at this time, but you can buy God is a Woman by Ariana Grande on iTunes, and you can pre-order her album Sweetener coming August 17th. And you can also watch Davon Rogers, Our Lord and Savior, on MTV's The Challenge, Tuesday nights on MTV at 9 p.m. So thank you, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yeah, I saw your tweet got pretty huge, Jason. That was
it did.
That was pretty exciting. I was feeling so excited for you because that just seems insane.
I did not expect it to be that big.
But the audience won't follow the account.
But we need the audience to follow the account. We need the audience to follow the account and buy the album.
All right. By the way, Brian, I love that. That thing has just become a meme so quickly, the Rachel speech. I love hearing it. And other than that, I just want to say thank you guys so much. And see you next time. Peace.